was the nature of the relationship between David Pecker and the president?
So we had talked to, over the course of those stories that I did, dozens of AMI employees who said they were really close. There was this transactional arrangement where Pecker would identify stories to be killed for Trump. Now, we know much more explicitly now from the charging documents in the Michael Cohen case that that is exactly what was happening, that there was actually a formal arrangement, and that Michael Cohen would liaise with Pecker to identify these stories and to make sure they didn't show up in the news.
Manhattan prosecutors are moving to present the Trump hush money case to the grand jury. I'm Yasmin Khan with The Breakdown, and this is more of an update on a previous story that we've covered here on The Breakdown, which was an update from a story that was big in the headlines several years ago. Prosecutors are moving forward with the case against former President Donald Trump regarding hush payments made to Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels. This is meant to be the final step before Trump is either convicted or acquitted of his criminal indictments. Now, one known witness in the case will be David Pecker. Pecker was the publisher of the National Enquirer and a friend to Trump who was instrumental in the deal that was ultimately cut with Daniels. In a Trump Tower meeting that took place in October 2016, Stormy Daniels' agent and lawyer discussed selling the exclusive rights to her story to the National Enquirer, which the tabloid would then never publish. This wasn't the only Trump accuser Pecker did this with in a practice called catch and kill. Pecker will be testifying against Trump. The Manhattan DA prosecuting Trump, Alvin Bragg, took over the work from former DA Cy Vance Jr. when Vance did not seek re-election in 2021. Vance and his team had been working on a broader case against Trump, investigating whether or not he inflated the value of his assets in order to obtain bigger loans. When Bragg took over, he decided to drop the case based on lack of evidence, prompting two prosecutors who had been working on the case to resign. One of those prosecutors has written a book about the case, which is set to be released in early February. Now, by the way, Vance's office was responsible for the charges made against the Trump org and its former chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, for various finance and fraud-related crimes. Earlier this month, Weisselberg was sentenced to 5 months at Rikers. The crux of this hush payment case is dependent on whether or not the payments were wrongfully accounted for as legal expenses. This on its own would be considered just a misdemeanor, but if the prosecution can prove that these payments were made in an effort to commit or conceal a second crime, then it could be a felony. The second crime in this case would be a violation of New York State election law, but it might be a hard sell for prosecutors. Now, will any of this make a difference? Will a former president get actual jail time? Forgive me if I'm a little bit doubtful, but Michael Cohen has already served time for his part in this plot. Alan Weisselberg has been convicted of related crimes, and now David Pecker is testifying against Trump in exchange for his own immunity. This, along with several other legal battles being waged against Trump, is part of a compounded effort against him. The question now is, will any of it pay off as far as convicting Trump himself, as opposed to just the people around him, the people who committed crimes at his behest and on his behalf? All right, we'll have to keep an eye on that story, but for now, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you.